Welcome, welcome, welcome to our team call. And I just have a couple of announcements before we get to the highlight because obviously that's why we're all here. First of all, Punta Cana was amazing, and we want all of you guys in Mexico next year for sure. So make sure you're hitting Success Club and you're working your tails off so that we can pay for that. It was a free trip. It was so much fun. We had an amazing time, and the only thing we missed was all of you guys there with us. And Summit is coming up, so if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, be sure to get that. We still have some hotel rooms that we've reserved for our team, so we can definitely get you in those blocks so that we're all in the same place. And then, of course, tonight we have Ruth because we won this call because we represented huge at the DC Super Saturday, and I'm so excited. I've watched Ruth over the past 3 years grow like this amazing business. And tonight we have this privilege of having her on our team call. So I don't want to waste any more time and just get over to her. And so a couple of little stats on Ruth, right? So she started in July 2014. So she's been a coach for almost 3 years. Is that right? Almost.
Yeah, it'll be 3 years in July. Well, June, I guess.
Okay. So her first year as a coach, she earned 6 figures. So that's amazing. She's got 33 consecutive months at Success Club 10. And you guys get this, okay? Wait for this. Her average Success Club points per month is 30. So that's just her average. So some months she's getting more than that. Some months she's getting less than that. Like 30 Success Club points per month. So there's always people that need help. She's an executive leader on the leadership ladder. She's a 9-star diamond. She's 2015 and 2016 top 25 elite. And she is currently ranked #1 in the entire Beachbody network. So we are gonna like give it up to you and take all the nuggets we can get because that is amazing, and we're so excited to have you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that introduction. I'm so excited to be here, and hopefully I will leave you guys with some tangible things to use in your business to help you guys move forward this year as well and grow your own business. So I'm going to back up a little bit and share kind of a little bit about who I was before Beachbody and who I was coming into this, so you guys can kind of see where I started, and then go into kind of evaluating your own business, see where you're excelling or where you could improve to help more people to, grow your own business. So I started, like she said, in June, July, almost 3 years ago. I kind of stumbled into this business on a whim. This wasn't in my plan. I wasn't looking for it. I simply wanted to get fit. And actually, when I was first approached, I was looking, so interesting story, I guess, I was looking on Instagram at hashtags for 21-day fix results and hashtags for T25 results. That's actually how I stumbled upon this. So I was doing research on those two programs, and I was primarily just using those hashtags. And I found a woman who I thought she had my before body. And so I was like, well, she has my before body. I want her after body. And I got on her website. I filled out a form to be in her challenge group. She didn't respond to me very quickly. And I actually ended up friending her on Facebook. And she sent me like a forming message, basically, saying, hey, how are you? And I actually asked her, I was like, oh, I'm good. Did you get my form for your challenge group? And she replied back saying, oh, you want to be a coach or something like that? And I was like, absolutely not. I don't want to be a coach. I'm not fit enough. So that was my first response. And I said, no, I just want to get fit. I was interested. Should I do T25 or should I do 21-day fix? And she kind of took a long time to respond to me, 7 days actually. And I literally just wanted her to tell me what program to do. She actually could have told me to just like eat broccoli for 7 or 21 days straight, and I would have done it to have her after body. I just wanted her to specifically say, you need this one program. It's going to get you the results you want. Took her 7 days to do that. And even when she did come back, she was kind of wavering in her answer, kind of like not giving me a straightforward answer. Well, in that time, I was still trying to research on my own to figure out my own choice. And that's when I stumbled upon my coach Jessica's blog. And is actually a YouTube video she had made talking about the business opportunity in terms of how much money she had earned in her business. And it's so funny because when I think about this, like, I was all over top 10 Beachbody coaches pages before I found Jessica's YouTube video. The girl that I had mentioned, and because I was looking for results, now looking back, I know whose pages I was on. And a lot of those pages were really fitness focused. So it's funny that I was looking for fitness, and I was on a lot of blogs that talked mainly about fitness. But what happened is I then accidentally found this YouTube video from Jessica about the business side, business results. And that's when I ended up getting 21 Day Fix and signing up as a coach at the same time. I reached out to Jessica. Jessica actually messaged me back that very day. And I signed up with 21 Day Fix Challenge Pack immediately. And 1 week after saying I'm not fit enough to be a coach, I joined as a coach with Jessica because she showed me the business results. I'll kind of talk about that. So that is how I stumbled into this. And at the time, my husband and I were $245,000 in student loan debt. And that burden was just huge. And knowing that I wasn't ever going to be a stay-at-home mom because of that financial burden, knowing the stress it put on our marriage, I did not want that anymore. I could not live in that stress anymore. It was really impacting our marriage, and we were fighting a lot about money. We were having spending freezes every month. We were always bouncing checks. It was a disaster. And people always tell me, like, I don't have money to coach. You guys probably hear the same thing. That's like the number one thing I hear is I don't have money either to do a fitness program or to be a coach. And I always tell people, if you are in the situation I was, I always say, raise your hand if you've ever been $250,000 in debt. Not a lot of people can do that. That was not even a mortgage was included in that. That was just student loans. So our situation was pretty bad. And I always tell people, like, if you don't have the money to enroll as a coach or as a challenger, that $160, you don't have the money to not open your business. Like, you have to. You don't have any other option. How are you going to change your financial situation without doing something to change? Because I know for myself back then, I was trying anything and thinking of everything to earn money, trying to, get a part-time job, looking at how to advance in my own career. But I really dove into this business and committed to the process because of the need that we had to change our situation. I knew that this business was going to be really hard to build, but I also knew that living my life under that financial strain was going to be so much harder. And so for me, everything became a non-negotiable when I started. And I did say, I would do this for 2 years and I would see what would happen in 2 years. And then the worst thing, I'd just be fit. And then I'd quit if I hadn't. I literally did say, like, if I hadn't sold one thing in 2 years, I'd quit after that. So I was pretty serious about just coming in, following the process, and giving it my all. And I'm going to show you what that has looked like for me in terms of how do I evaluate this in my business and how do I make sure I'm still doing the things to, build a great business. I think I'm unique in my situation. If we look at other top coaches, I'm going to be honest, I am not the best at blogging. I haven't put anything on my blog in 2 years. I was better back then than I am now because I think I came in as a new coach and I thought I had to have a website and I thought I had to have a like page and I had a YouTube channel, and I was really going every direction, which I don't think hurt me, but I've scaled actually that back and I really focus on a fewer things now. While I'm trying to grow things slowly on the other sides of it. But I think it goes to show you don't have to spread yourself too thin. You don't have to do everything to have a big business. You can focus on Instagram, Facebook, and grow a very good business within that without having a website or a YouTube channel that's, you're always putting things up. So I'm going to talk to you about those basic things that I've done from day one and have you guys actually evaluate your own business. So this will kind of be, I want you guys to really get honest with yourself in this. I hear from a lot of coaches on my team or my downline, or even from other coaches who will, reach out and say, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I can go to their social media profile and pinpoint it in 2 seconds. And it boggles my mind when people are like, I'm doing everything. And then I go to their social media profile and I'm like, wait, what? You're doing everything. So I'm going to talk to you very specifically about how to evaluate your business to see where you are excelling, or again, where you could use some improvements. And then how do you do this? By rating yourself. You're going to do a self-assessment on this call. So I am going to challenge you to be really honest with yourself. Be brutally honest with yourself and really think about, okay, am I actually doing this, or am I just doing the pieces of it I like? Because that's where I see a lot of coaches go wrong. They might be doing a piece of the vital behavior, but they're skimping on other pieces within that same vital behavior. So I'm really going to break it down into some tangible steps. So first off, we're going to talk about personal development, first vital behavior. I think this is they're all so important. So I can't say it's the most important. They're all so important. But this business is 100% dictated by your belief in yourself. And I'm challenging you all to begin positive affirmations if you haven't already. Because I think every time I have done something in this business, my first thought was, I can't do it. It's not going to work. It'll never happen for me. Every single time I've took a training or I've applied a new concept, but I still then apply the new concept that I learned. There's been so many times I watched a YouTube training and then I've been like, nope, this isn't going to work. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to trust it anyways. I'm just going to do it and see what happens, because I know that this coach has done something great. So if she's saying I should do it, I'm just going to fall into it and see what happens. So I want you guys to evaluate your personal development. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the best, 10 being the worst, I want you to rate how often or how well do you do personal development. And here's the criteria I want you to look for. 1, are you reading or listening to 15 minutes of personal development, something that uplifts you and builds your belief or builds your business? Okay, so this is very specific in terms of, is it building your confidence, your belief in you, or at least, really that's the biggest piece of it, because business strategy is kind of a different, I separate it. I have a belief building and a business building. They're not the same. The belief building is vital. You have to have that belief, or anything you do to build your business isn't going to work. So what are you doing to build your belief in yourself or this business every single day? 15 minutes. Now, here's the proof. The proof is in the pudding. It's not just, are you doing it? When you do this, are you then applying it to your life? Are you living it? Are you living it? So how do you know if you're living it? Go check out your social media. If you are really getting into your personal development, doing it, it should really reflect through everything that you do. Are you posting about in your challenge groups, in your team page, on your social media? It's going to lift you up and inspire you so much, or challenge you when you start to apply your personal development. It's going to change you. It's going to change how you think. It's going to change how you act. So listening is only one piece of it, but then it's taking what you just learned in your personal development and applying it to your life somehow, or applying it to your business, or sharing that with someone else. I know that when I'm doing personal development, it's very hard not to go repeat it to someone else. It's just an easy thing to share because it makes me feel good. I'm going to share that with other people. So 1 is, are you listening to it, reading it, or applying it every day? And how is it being shown to your entire business, whether that is on your social media, your challenge groups, or your team page? How is that surfacing in your business? And how are you using that to better yourself and your team and applying those concepts every day? It should be changing you and how you think about yourself. But if you just listen and you don't ever apply it, if you don't ever take it and try and use it, you're not going to see the same result in personal development. The next one, product of a product. So we're going to evaluate your business. Rating yourself 1 to 10, 1 being the best. Now, what does 1 look like? 1 is, are you following a program from day 1 to completion? I'm going to talk about why all this is important. Are you following the nutrition plan? Are you drinking Shakeology every day? Not just picking one piece of it that you like, but are you actually following the nutrition plan, drinking your Shakeology, following your workout calendar to whatever program you are doing? This is vital. In 3 years, I have completed pretty much, I go back-to-back programs. I usually take a week and a half off in between programs, and then I start another program. This is the foundation of my business. My business would not exist if I was not doing this. So I consistently complete program after program. I actually have a pretty cool graphic of all the different programs I've completed. But in doing that, why is it so important? My body is my business, and I would not have a business if I did not treat my body that way. And I don't have a huge transformation. I never really have had that big of a transformation. But I show people the potential of our programs through my own physique. I am always changing and sculpting my body. To me, my body is always evolving in some way. And in doing that, it shows people the diversity of our program structure, and it shows people that we can change our body. And in my mind, ever since day 1, that was my job, was to show people what our programs were doing. I can't do that if I'm skipping the nutrition plan, if I'm skipping Shakeology, if I'm just bouncing from workout to workout from every different program. So completing that program and showing that story is huge. To also have a 1 in this category, you also have to be sharing it on social media. Like, this is massive, because if you're just doing it behind the scenes, it honestly, really doesn't matter. No one is going to know our programs work if you're not sharing it on social media. So if you go and look at your profile, scan your social media profile. Are you showing people what day of the program are you on right now? Does your audience know what day you're on? Does your audience see your progress with you? Have you updated your progress photos every 7 days? So on my social media profile, I update my progress photos usually every 7 days when I'm doing my programs. And this is twofold. 1, it helps hold me accountable, because I'm like everyone else. I would just love to eat everything I want every weekend and just so get results. Unfortunately, life doesn't work like that. So when I know I'm taking my photos Monday morning to post, then that holds me accountable. 2, it also builds the story on social media. And I'm telling you guys, people love to follow your progress. I think it's insane. I've been doing Body Beast past 10 weeks. And I've been posting my photos every 7 days, and it's always one of my biggest posts of the week. It has the most likes, and it has more comments than anything else. These 7-day progress photos. And I think it's crazy because my body isn't changing that much from week to week. I mean, it hadn't changed that much, especially when we got in the middle of the program, like when I'm on day 50. There's not a lot of change, but people still showed up to cheer me on or to watch my progress. It's an easy post to make. When you're doing a program, half of your social media takes care of itself organically, because then you can just say, here's what I'm eating today. Here's what my workout looked like today. Or here are my progress photos. I totally believe if every coach did progress photos, and I actually started talking to my downline about this year, because when I did the National Wake Up Call, one of the questions was, when did your business start to take off? It was when I posted my 7 days, my 7-day results, my very first time. And that was really the turning point for me. And ever since I was a new coach, every 7 days, I have been posting those progress photos. So I have started talking to my downline about it so much more and the severity of it. And I've actually started making it a requirement in my challenge groups as well too, because I believe it holds me accountable. So if it helped me get results, then I know it's going to help my customers also get results and my coaches also get results. So it's not even an option now for my new coaches and customers. They have to post their 7-day progress photos in my challenge group. It's now part of it. Just every Monday, okay, guys, we're all posting our progress photos. Here we go. Of course, some people don't. But with that alone, that has changed my challenge groups. It's also changed the results for my customers and my new coaches. It's been amazing to see that. So I am a huge believer in those 7-day photos. Just it helps your business so much. So in terms of being a product, not just doing it, but then sharing it. And additionally, are you continuously sharing your story on social media of your entire transformation? So I'm 3 years in, I still talk about what I believed prior to Beachbody in terms of health and fitness. And I still post my transformation photos, not just my 7-day transformation photos, but my lifelong transformation photos. I will share those on my social media all the time. At least, I would say at least 2 times a week, I post my personal transformation as well as my 7 days. And this is another thing I always look for in terms of coaches when they come to me and say, what am I doing wrong? I'm constantly looking for results on their page. I go to their page, and I think one thing I see coaches do far too often is to not share their results photos. So I have coaches who have some really awesome results with Beachbody programs, and they don't share it too often. But if you're thinking about Instagram or Facebook, someone should be able to come to your page and see your lifetime transformation from a very, very quick scroll. Someone once told me on Instagram, it should be every 6 photos. You should share your own transformation or a transformation picture, because on Instagram, you see the top 6. So if they can't quickly see your transformation on Instagram, you need to make sure you're sharing your transformation every 6 photos. So if you think about that in terms of Facebook too, it's kind of like, okay, if you scroll, how long is it going to take for them to scroll and see your transformation on Facebook? I always think about that in terms of, what if it's the first time someone looks at your page? You don't want them to have to dig to find your results. And if I go back, and I told you guys how I got into this, right? I was looking for results. And from day one, it's funny, I have mimicked the girl who I originally contacted on Instagram, because I knew I went to her because I wanted her fitness results. So I thought, I'm just really a big copycat. But I thought, if I found this girl on Instagram using 21-day fix hashtags, and if I was attracted to her because of all the results photos she posted, I'm going to do the same thing. And so I've always carried that concept with me, because I know that's how really I found this business, but I found the fitness programs as well. It's what attracted me to reach out to a stranger on Instagram was her fitness results. I also apply that same concept to the business, because I know Jessica, the reason I reached out to Jessica, she was also talking about results, but it was about business results. And I always talk to people, especially, I always tell people, if you want someone to join your challenge group, or if you want someone to join your coach team, you have to show them tangible results. What are they going to get out of this? And obviously, transformation photos are tangible results, or, the jeans pictures where people's jeans are too big. That's a tangible result people want to see and have of their own. In terms of coaching, the tangible, I do talk about income. I know not everybody does. I talk about income because, again, I joined because Jessica was talking about income. And so I've always applied those same things that brought me into this business. I've applied that to my own business. So I talk about income. I have some other coaches who, talk about what Beachbody affords them to do in terms of, the Success Club trip, or, they could throw their son a birthday party, or they could take a family vacation, talking about those tangible things as well. Because I think a lot of coaches, they get in this business and they compare themselves to other people. And so I know for me as a coach, when I started, I would have been totally happy with $500 a month. That's all I wanted. Then you get into this business and you see what other people are doing, and you think for some reason your success isn't enough. You're like, well, I can't ever talk about $500 a month now until I'm making $5,000 a month, because look at all these coaches making $5,000 a month. So I'm not going to talk about my $500 a month. But $500 is a big deal to people. That's all I wanted in the beginning. And that $500 is life-changing for a lot of people. I know that there's a statistic out there that says $500 is what the difference between people's marriages who have financial stress. But they say that $500 could save a marriage and take that burden off. But I always think about it in terms of, what am I giving my audience that is a tangible result that they're going to want to join my challenge group or the coach team? Because if you're not showing them what's possible, they're never going to say yes, because you haven't showed them why they should say yes with results photos, or talking about what the business has given you. So when you are falling into that one category, evaluating your business, are you not only following the program, doing Shakeology, following the nutrition plan, but also sharing that? Because if it's just behind the scenes, no one is going to know. So really being a product of the product is sharing that same thing on social media. Recognition. So I want to talk about recognition. This is a newer one, obviously. And I think sometimes we overcomplicate it. I definitely know that I do. Recognition. I'm going to talk about this in terms of challenge groups and then coach teams. Are you recognizing on a weekly basis your challengers' progress and your challengers' efforts in your challenge groups? So a way to do this, if you use a challenge tracker app, so I know some people don't. I use both right now. I use the challenge tracker app. They track in the app. In the Facebook group, we have more of our community area. So they're tracking in the app. And what I started doing at the beginning of this year is recognizing my challengers who completed 7 of 7 workouts and Shakeologies each week. So doing a leader shout out post in my challenge groups saying congrats to these challengers who have completed 7 workouts and 7 Shakeologies this week, and log them in the app. This has been kind of game changing for my challenge groups, and then results, because they go hand in hand, because they care if their name is not on there. They'll be like, why isn't my name on the board? I thought I logged my stuff. And it is just incredible how much it pushes them to participate and then to get those results. And because of how our app is set up, with the filters, I actually tell people if they have a rest day to log it as a workout, as a rest day. That way I don't have to sift through and say, oh, they didn't do it or they did, or you could do 6 of 7. But I always do 7 of 7 and tell them to log their rest day if they have a built-in rest day in their program. But this, in terms of helping them see the impact of Shakeology on them, is huge. And also helping them get the best results possible. This has been such a great thing in my challenge groups. I also do challenger spotlights, where I'll ask my challengers if they are okay with me sharing their journey, whether it is, just a photo of them and something good that they've said, in the challenge group, or when I check in with them, or maybe it's their results. I'll ask my challenger if they're okay with me sharing that publicly and do a challenger spotlight. When I was a new coach, I was super scared to do this, because I was like, oh, they might not want me to show their profile. They might not want me to share their picture. What I found is actually the very opposite. People were so flattered that I was asking to do this. And I always let them know, if I want to share their photos, I always say I can crop your head out and it could be an anonymous shout out, or I can leave it in if you're okay. And I give them the option there, and I tell them it's totally fine if they say no. But they are so flattered to have been thought of and to be recognized in that manner. And then kind of in the coach page, this kind of, if you have a team, if you're leading a team, or if you're even a new coach and you're new to growing your team, obviously you guys probably have like downline recognition that you're already doing. But one thing that I have started to hone in on this year that I've learned actually almost helps more is that personal message to coaches, recognizing their daily behaviors. So if you have a new coach who's joined, maybe they haven't hit Success Club yet and they haven't ranked advanced yet, but you see that they're sharing their transformation or just sharing on social media. They came out on social media as a coach, or they shared their progress in the challenge group or whatever it is. Just recognizing their effort in what they are doing as a new coach and personally messaging them, either personally messaging them or, shouting them out in your team page. Sometimes I think we overlook the behaviors of new coaches, and those behaviors are what leads to success in this business. So if early on we can recognize new coaches as they are practicing these behaviors to really boost their confidence and really help them continue those actions, even though they maybe haven't helped anyone yet, but recognizing those first steps and helping them continue those things just through recognition is a big deal. And it doesn't have to be a huge formal post or anything like that, but just letting them know that you saw it and that you're proud of them, whether it's a personal message or a very simple shout out, is something that this year I've noticed has helped my new coaches quite a bit. And it encourages then other new coaches to do the same thing. So I think that's a huge thing I've noticed this year, just outside of, obviously we recognize rank, we recognize Success Club, but those daily behaviors are just as important as well. And then the last one, inviting. So I want to talk more about how we invite in this one. And I want you guys to think about how you invite as I speak to this. So I've talked about, do you guys call it the power of three? No? I don't know. I just thought everyone called it that. It must be my upline instinct. I don't know. So power of three, meaning you'll know what I'm talking about when I say it, but adding 3 new friends, forming with 3 new people, inviting 3 people to the challenge group or 3 people to coach at an opportunity, and following up with 3 people. I don't know, we call it power of 3 in my downline. I don't know why. Fantastic for it. So I'm going to kind of speak to all that and also, how we word these messages. But so are you doing all of these things each day? So I'm coupling in power hour, and you call it power hour, right? That's like, okay. Are you doing all of the pieces of power hour each day? I'm putting that under it in the inviting. So let's evaluate your business. You're getting a 1 if you do all of these things, all of them. So if I took out 1 piece, you're now dropping down to like a 7, because each of these pieces are so, so important in terms of friending and forming. That is your pipeline. So if you're not adding 3 new friends each day, you're expanding your network every day, your pipeline isn't going to grow. So in 2 to 3 months, you're not going to have anyone else to invite because you haven't been getting new eyes on your page. When I started coaching, I immediately went to my husband's friends list, and I just started adding anybody that I kind of knew through him. And I did that with my sister and my best friends from college. And I started just immediately adding any of those people who I'd kind of maybe met once in the past. And it's insane when you do that and you follow the rest of the power hour that it does trickle into each other. And if you're doing your social media right, those contacts turn into customers because they'll start cluing into your story and watching it. So if you are doing power hour and posting your product on social media, it is so hard for all these things not to work together. It is an organic pipeline that we build here. And so That's why friending and expanding your network, getting more eyes on your social media that you're rocking out is so important, because it's going to all naturally come together. In terms of inviting, I want you guys to ask yourself, do you follow the process of the 5-step invitation process? So this is in the back office, it's in Coach Basics. You're getting a 1 if you're following it, but you have to follow it. So the first thing, I want you to think about your messages when you invite somebody. And if it's a cold invite, if you're sending them a message, and you've never talked to them before, look at that message you've sent. Is it over 4 sentences? Is it over 4 sentences, 4 to 5 sentences long? If it's over 4 to 5 sentences long, it's too long. You need to shorten it up. It has to be short, sweet, to the point. I've done a lot of push groups with coaches, so I've seen a lot of messages come out, and I'll see these people basically just word vomiting all over people in their initial message. And I'm like, where the heck did you ever find that message? Like, that message was nowhere in Coach Basics or in any script I have ever seen. But now you just sent them a story of your life. And no offense, but like, they don't care about your life. They don't. They care about themselves, and they care about their time. And you just told them about yourself, and you took away their time, and now they are mad. So I want you to look at your first message. 4 to 5 sentences tops, very, very quick, and ending it with a question mark in terms of, whatever you're inviting to, if it's a coach opportunity, if it's a challenge group. Is that something you are open to? I always say, is this something you're open to learning more about? I say that in terms of my challenge group invites. Are you open to learning more about this? Because it's non-committal. It's not saying they're interested. Sometimes I feel like if I say, are you interested? They're committing too much. They're like scared to say like, oof, I don't know. Then I feel like I have to say yes to everything else. So I always say, are you open to learning more in terms of challenge groups? In terms of coaching, I actually invite more to coaching than I do to challenge groups. In terms of invites, one thing that I've started doing that I really like is my question to them about coaching is, have you ever considered coaching before? That's my question at the end of my coach invites. Have you ever considered coaching before? The reason I like this question is because they will tell me no, and that's fine. I'm like, perfect. We can keep having a conversation. I found that they will answer that question pretty easily, because they'll either say no, or some of them will say yes. But when they say no, they didn't tell me no to coaching. They just told me no, they hadn't considered it. And now I'm going to tell them why they should. So then I'll kind of, weave it back to, here's why you'd be great at it, or here's why it benefits you. And then we have a coach webinar, so I just ask if they'd be interested in checking it out. But it lets me it gives me another way to share more about coaching with them in chunks of information, or why they'd be good at it, without overloading them with information in the initial message or the second or the third message. All right, so then kind of going back to inviting to challenge groups. Sorry, I'm jumping around here. When you're talking to people about your challenge groups, are you following that 5-step invitation process and asking them about their goals first off? So you ask them if they're interested. If they're interested, they come back, or maybe you ask them their goals right off the bat. But you have to start with their goals. Always start with why. Always start with why, and dig into their why. This is something I started doing last year. I would not only ask what their goals were, but I would say to them, I'd also ask, why are you interested in, or why is this your goal? Like, how is it going to better your life? And in doing that, I learned so much more about the deeper reason to why they wanted to lose the weight. And that deeper reason is really important for us to understand, to help them get results, but also for us to speak to in terms of how we are going to help them bring that why to life. So it's been really cool, because as I talk to women, I'll learn so much about them when I say, and why is this your goal? I've talk to a lot of women, about who want to get pregnant or who want to have kids, and they'll go into longer stories about why it's important for them to get healthy for their family, or the emotional side of weight loss. And it's really that emotional side we have to connect with, because anyone out there can go and get Slim for Life or Jenny Craig or whatever the programs are, Weight Watchers. But none of those programs really speak to the emotional support that we offer them in our challenge groups, that we're going to show up every day and cheer them on and tell them that they're capable of reaching their goal. So I always dig into that why as I'm going through our conversation, and ask them to tell me that. And it's at that point I can take everything we have and that I offer as a coach, and I can tell them how I'm going to help them reach that goal that they have, that emotional goal too, with our programs, and walk through that with them. So as you are inviting, are you following the 5-step invitation process? Additionally, are you following up? The fortune is in the follow-up. It is all there. I think like 70% of my challenge packs each month are from follow-ups. Very, very few are from initial invitations. Most all of them are from following up with people from the past. I follow up with people literally for as long as, and forever. I give it a little bit more space in between, but I will follow up with them I actually just made a list of 100 people that I probably talked to my first year and I haven't reached back out to out of fear. So I made my no fear list for this month of women who are on my dream team list of coaches that I want to reach out to, invite to coaching, and follow up with again, because we talked 2 years ago and maybe they told me 2 years ago no, and I'm going to follow up with them at this point. But most of my business is all on follow-ups, and I will follow up consistently. If I start a conversation with someone new today and they tell me no, or if they ignore me, I will follow up probably for 6 straight months before I will give it more space. So each challenge group in the next 6 months, I'll invite them to that one. Unless they start to ignore me for 4 months in a row, I'll give them a few extra months in between. I'll start to space them out a little bit more. But everything that my business is built on follow-ups in people who initially told me no, or now wasn't the time for them. So consistently always following up in that as well. And if you look at your power hour, how often are you doing it? Last year, I ran a group. In the group, they had to check in their power hour each week. We also knew if they're making Success Club. And I got so crazy one day, I counted up all the stats from it because I was curious to see who was doing their power hour and who wasn't, and the difference. And it truly was the women who were doing power hour 6 to 7 days a week were literally all making Success Club. And then it dropped down. So women who were doing it 3 to 5 days a week, they were Success Club 4 to 6, where the people who were doing it every day were 6 to 15. And the people who showed up 2 or 3 times and never did it, they weren't in Success Club. It was all by the numbers. I think it blew my mind. It showed me more than anything that this business is not about luck. We all know it's not about luck, but I think so often we just assume someone has this pull on social media. Someone has this they just get people to come to them, and people are just raining into them because they have something special on social media. It's not that at all. It really is power hour. It is doing that every day, completing it daily, doing all 5 steps of it. And that is where you build business. And the numbers were just staggering when I looked at this. And I was like, anyone can build this business, truly, if they just follow the system. And I know we talk about the system so often, and we all sound like broken records at this point, I feel, but it's because it works. And it's because there isn't a secret that someone's holding back it seriously is just consistency in the things I just talked about, in social media, being a product of the product, and really inviting, and then obviously personal development. But like those things, it is truly just that. And when you commit to that process over and over again, that is when your business grows. And so I really challenge each of you to look at your business based upon that and really dig into like the nitty gritty and get honest with yourself. Are you actually doing it? Are you picking out pieces that you like, that are easier, that aren't scary? Or surfing Facebook and calling it work? Are you actually doing it, or are you just cherry picking what you want to do? And if you can get real with yourself and then fill in those gaps where you're missing out, that's where you'll start to build a business. So that's what I have for you guys. Do you guys have questions about any of that?
Awesome. Yeah, I think if you have a few minutes, we probably have a couple questions. My question off the bat was Success Club 30 every month. Where do these people come from? And so you're not doing like a blog. Are you getting them from ads, or where are all these new people that you're finding coming from? Are you in Facebook groups, or what is that?
Yeah. So it still blows my mind that a lot of it is people who I've been friending since the very beginning. So right. I will tell you, because of my husband's career, we had moved 5 times before I started coaching. So I've moved 5 times in the past year. So that gives me 5 markets. That's pretty sweet for me. Right. So you have to remember that too. Everyone is a little bit different with their warm market. So I had 5 warm markets, if not more, coming into this. So that definitely helped, given that we'd moved so much. And I went bananas just like friending the heck out of people. So part of it is because I've been consistent for 3 years, and I've been consistent in adding friends from my warm market, expanding that. That has been part of it. It's funny, like in January, a ton of my warm market pulled around. But outside of that, I'll tell you some of the strategies I use. I haven't been running as many Facebook ads because I cannot figure them out, but I used to run a lot. And with it changing, I feel like I haven't been doing it since September consistently. But I do for my Facebook, I'll run an ad on Facebook, like this page ad. Mm-hmm. I'll do that. And so all of those people I friend, and I send them a forming message that just says, thank you for liking Get Ginger Fit. Is there any content you'd like me to put on my page? So I'll just send them like a very generic, what would you like to see more of on my page, offering them something. So that's one way. The other way is free groups, and I'll tell you how I do this. In my free groups, so I was in a free group. I got kicked out of it, unfortunately. I was in a free 15-day group. It was like a bikini fitness group. And what I would do in there is I would just go and post my results photos in there with like emotional quote or like rah, go team, let's do this. So I'd post my results. And when I do that, people would be like, oh my gosh, how did you get those results? And I would just say, shoot me a friend request and I'll send you my meal plan. So that's how I would get to know those people. But then they kicked me out. They must have caught on.
That's a great strategy though, for a while it worked.
Yeah. So I took that strategy and I try and use it for everything else. So, my moms will do this in their mom groups. They'll post like their transformations in their mom groups and just whatever it is. They're like, here I am, like however many months postpartum. And then people will be like, oh, how'd you do that? And so they'll do the same thing. I will try and think of ways to post in my free groups. If it's like a travel group or, I'm trying to think what other groups I've been trying to conceive group too, but I don't post much in there. But like a travel group, I'll try and post things of value and then turn that into, oh yeah, shoot me a message and I'll send you whatever, a link to whoever. I could easily post the link in the group page, but I don't want to do that. I want them to send me a friend request and I want to get a conversation behind the scenes going, just because that's going to, from everything I've heard, improve the chance of me popping up on their newsfeed.
Right.
That's really my biggest strategy there. So I try and add value in all of my groups, and from that, anytime I could get them to send me a friend request, or I'll friend them as well. But if I can get them to friend me, it's even better, and send me a message. And then also free groups. I started doing these very end of last year. Katie Erstad has a really good video on how to do free groups.
Katie Erstad, okay.
Yeah, I can send it to you. Because I'm not the queen of free groups, but her strategy is awesome for expanding your warm market. So I'll send you that YouTube video, and I use that method where I host a free group. I put the ad, it's not even an ad, it's just a post on Facebook, and I make people tag 3 friends. So that it works. So I'll send you that, because that goes into details about how she uses that strategy.
That'd be awesome. Another question I had, and so you talked about posting about income, and I get it since, you make a lot now, but how did you post about it up and coming? When you were just making enough to pay off your cell phone bill or pay whatever, how did you post about it throughout your progression?
Yeah. It really would just be like, oh, I paid for my cell phone bill this month. I think we all lose sight of it once we become a coach. We forget paying for your cell phone bill is pretty sweet. You literally are working out and bettering your body, and you paid for your cell phone bill. That's awesome.
Right.
So that is really it. And that's what I tell all of how I tell my coaches to think about it. Like, if you paid for your cell phone bill this month, that's awesome, because someone out there is struggling to pay for their phone bill. Like, I would have done anything to have an extra $150 a month. So I think it's all about how we mentally think about it, is just knowing that, like, number one, most people are not going to see a big income post and believe it's possible for them. I really think, and I think most of the people I'm trying to attract probably aren't going to see that and think like, oh yeah, I can do that. So I think when you balance it, because anytime I talk about my income, I always talk about how hard I work, because I don't want people joining me because I think it's easy. That obviously happens though. So, but I think earning $150, $500 a month is realistic, and people can relate to that. They're like, oh yeah, now that sounds real. Where when people's income is too high, it doesn't sound real anymore. People might join it, but it might not be the best quality of people, right? So you're sifting then through people who do truly just want to get rich quick. But I think in terms, especially if stay-at-home moms, one of my stay-at-home moms is great at posting about her income, because she always talks about, I was a stay-at-home mom last year making $0 a month, and now I'm a stay-at-home mom and I'm making $400 a month. Like, that's a pretty sweet raise I gave myself. And I also, when I was a new coach, I talked about what I wanted. So I talk about creating vision a lot as well, in terms of your team page and social media. And from the beginning of coaching, I've talked about where I wanted to take my business. So even before I was earning my income now, I was talking about wanting to quit my job someday. And I know some people can't talk about that. I was talking about wanting to like have that freedom, or I was talking about building big business essentially on social media before I ever had one. I sounded like a nutcase. But I think that attracted a lot of people to tune into the Looney Tunes show on my page to see if I'd bring it to life. And then when I did, they're like, oh, it's real.
Totally. And that's some more accountability for you, right? Because you're posting
yes,
where you're going to be.
100%. It really, the big reason why I post a lot of stuff is so it holds me accountable. Yep. Because then I have to back it up with work. So I posted about what I wanted to happen as well.
Awesome. And then I have one more question before we ask anybody else. Challenge groups, because so Kristen and I are hanging out tonight. She had a call with her mentor. Do you do like a theme for all of your challenge groups, or you know what I mean? Like, so we're doing a new coaches one this month, and Kristen's got this whole thing. It's awesome, and it's like Survivor challenge group. So it's going to be like a surviving kind of thing. Do you do
Love
that kind of stuff, or is it like?
I don't. Mine are pretty, honestly, like I have a script that took me like 2 years to make. And I use pretty much that same script, but now I go live as well. And so mine are pretty much a consistent group in terms of, I don't do a theme, anything like that. But I will go live. Yeah. Do what?
Every month?
Yes. Yeah. So I run my groups 30 days. And then I'll just go live and kind of speak based upon what's on my heart, but I don't do a theme necessarily.
So Kristen just asked, do you keep the same challengers in there?
Some of them I have a lifetime group. Well, now it's like my 2017 group. So after they graduate from the 30-day group, they go into the lifetime group, and those posts are just kind of mixed up, mix mash of things. And then they can come over to a current group and follow along in there. And I actually do just keep the same posts. And so some of those challengers are repeat challengers, okay. But because the people change in them. And so when people are posting things, they're getting that variety as well. And you have to remember, not everyone sees your stuff. Actually, I feel like half the time, I think Facebook's changed something on groups where people are not seeing as much stuff. Right. But so yeah, and I've never actually had anyone, surprisingly, say anything to me about repeat content.
Right.
So, but I do go live so that way they I'm a presence in there. I am live in here. I comment on all their stuff, so they know that I'm there as well.
Right. Awesome. What other questions do you guys have? Anything? While we have the number one coach in Beachbody on the phone. How does it feel? Is it like so awesome?
It feels the same. I was just as confused and trying to figure out my business, when I was number whatever as I am now. I think we're always just like trying to figure stuff out.
Of course.
It's exactly the same. Someone asked me that question though. They're like, does it feel different? I was like, nope, I feel just as confused as I did yesterday.
Well, that's encouraging for the rest of us.
I am still saying, what is wrong? Like, how can I do this better? Always. So.
It's like the nature of always wanting to be better, I think.
Yeah. I feel like some other people just like have it so much more together than I do. And I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever be that person. Oh, well.
What do you guys have? Anybody have any questions?
Well, I mean,
now's your chance.
I'm like, well, we have you here. I'll ask you. Okay. So are you getting the majority of your new coaches through your challenge groups, or are they through people that you're getting from your like page or Instagram? Like, how are you getting a lot of your new coaches?
It's still a mismatch. It is kind of the same thing in terms of like half of them are still from my warm market, which I have found the longer you coach, the more of your warm market I feel will come around, because I've been doing it for 3 years now. They can't argue with me that it's a gimmick or it's fake. So that's where I feel like now is that sweet spot for me, finally 3 years in, where more of my warm market is coming around. But then can bring challengers, huge. So since I am hitting Success Club at least 30 each month, I usually bring in at least 7 to 10 challengers and then converting those people. And those challengers are from kind of how I just told you how I expand my market. It's right. Where they come from. And then the others are from, that's pretty much it. And I do a lot of coach posts. I talk more about coaching on my page than I do about fitness, to be honest. So that's where I convert most of them. So we do sneak peeks monthly, and I'll invite a lot of people to that.
So I could go to your page and look, but I'm just going to ask because everybody's here. Do you do like comment below, or do you put a form in there where people can fill it out?
Yes. Great question. I do. I give them a lot of options, actually. And I actually just read something where someone's like, don't give them options. And I was like, ooh. I do comment below, send me a message, or I put my Google form. So I do all three, actually. One thing that I have found is if I say drop an emoji below, it's a little bit less pressure. No
I
one
was just going to
knows
give you that tip.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, drop your favorite emoji below.
Yeah. So I do that one as well. So I mix it up, but I usually give those 3 options pretty consistently.
Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. What else? Anybody have anything? I have a question since you mentioned your sneak peek. Do you do like a 3-day sneak peek, 5-day sneak peek, or do you do like a live event? Or all of the above?
We started doing live events this past year, I think. So we'll do a 1-hour live event, and you can check it out. It's probably on my page. But so I'll do it with 4 of my other coaches. And so we'll each take a different topic for 8 minutes. And so it'll go back to back. Coach pops on, speaks about one topic. So that's what we do for the team. I have my own sneak peeks. I have like a sneak peek group where I put anyone who's ever been interested in coaching in this group. And I kind of do the same thing, but in there I'll start it over. Like I'm going to do one this week, and I'll just go through the topics and videos and myself talking, and then delete them all. And then I'm going to do it again. So.
Okay. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, we started doing live events, but then I've heard of like, I don't know, one of our coaches was in Ashley Malstad's group, and she did like a 5-day. So now I'm like, what is everybody doing?
We used to do 3-day.
Yeah, we did that too.
Last year we're doing 3-day sneak peeks.
Right. But I feel like everybody always checks them all at the same time, so we might as well just go live.
Yeah. I like the shorter events. I do.
Right. Wow. Awesome.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Well, I'm brand spanking new, like within 3 weeks. So this is probably completely irrelevant to everybody else, but how do you get more comfortable, like posting about yourself on social media? Like kind of going from that boundary of bragging about yourself to just upfront, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Because I hate posting on social media. 3 years later, I still like it. So first off, I really want to encourage you to actually, now I'm shooting my own horn, but to listen to my National Wake Up Call, because I talk about my first days as coaching and how I was skeptical about everything. Like when I was 3 weeks in, I would have listened to me and been like, this chick is a liar. So I encourage you to listen to that, so you hear like the rest of the story. Okay, so in terms of social media, I made a few rules for myself when I was a new coach. I noticed that I would say something to like my husband, but I wouldn't post it on social media. And that I'd be like super excited about something, but I would post it on social media because I didn't want people to think I was bragging. So I made a rule. If I was like telling my husband like, oh my gosh, look at this, like this is super exciting, I did this, or this is happening, then I needed to go share it on social media. And I just had to make it a non-negotiable. And I don't think it ever, I get better about doing it, but I don't know if it's still something I'm comfortable with ever. But it was just, it's a non-negotiable. I just have to do it. And if I'm telling it to my husband, like it's real. So if it's my honest truth, no one can come at me. I can't ever feel bad about it because I know it's just 100% real in me. So that was one rule. My other thing is I always ask myself, these are my rules to my coaches when they ask me the same. I say, are you being real? Are you being honest? And are you being you? And if the answer to it is all 3, it doesn't matter what anyone else says, what anyone else thinks, because as long as you know it's your truth, no one can ever bring it against you. You know, like if they don't like what I put on social media, that's fine, but I know it's my truth. So it doesn't matter. I'm right. They will always be wrong because it's my truth.
Right.
And then the last one, because if I'm talking about fitness or business results, those are probably the ones that I've been most scared to post about. I do this method. I think that Josh Coates, he's like a kind of like a Beachbody coach's coach method in terms of I talk about what my life used to be like or how I used to think and feel, the results I have now and how good I feel or the great things that have come of it. in how I'm offering it to someone else. So that's like the 3-step process. Like I'm offering it to somebody else. So it's not like I'm just bragging, because I'm telling you, here, look, my life used to suck really bad. I was $245,000 in student loan debt. I was in a collection agency once. Yes, now I'm making this amount of income. Here, I'm going to let you do it with me. So that's kind of how I balance, is like by sharing my past struggles. So they see I'm not just like, woohoo, look at my paycheck piece. Like I'm giving them more than that. And because I had the big bragging fear as well, I think that is in some way it's helped me on social media, because I will open up about a lot of things. I'll talk about past marital issues, which have nothing to do with Beachbody. But I talk about my previous real struggles, because I want people to know, I don't want them to see like just this like fairy tale story. And so it actually helped me by just sharing like things outside of Beachbody that I used to have in my past that I really struggled with. So they know like, oh, this girl's normal. She has past issues. She's not perfect. That way, when I do share something that's super awesome, they also know like, oh yeah, but one time like she really thought she was going to get a divorce. So does that make sense? I balance it out in my weird mind.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
That was a great question, Abby. I think a lot of us kind of don't know how to put that out there. What else? Anybody have anything? I don't want to keep you all night, Ruth. I know you're
Totally fine.
on the road. Anybody else? Going once? Going twice? All right. Well, thank you so. Does somebody have something? Go ahead.
Yeah, really quickly.
Ah,
Sorry.
is that your phone, Nikki? Nikki, now you're muted.
Okay, if you mute your mic, then we will.
I'm unmuted.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me? Sorry, hi.
Yep.
Having technical difficulties. Really awesome. Okay, you were talking about 90% of your challenge pack sales are coming from either your warm market or the folks that you're bringing in, but mostly the follow-ups, the people that are coming back around. And you're saying that that is like really starting to pop off like right now, and kind of about 6 months ago, you said really started coming up. And I'm just wondering, with those people that have come around and come around and come around, and the ones that have come around and purchased it, and because they didn't find the value in themselves that they were worthy of the $140 for Shakeology, like when they come back to you and they still have those blocks, how do you help them overcome that block? Do you know what I mean? Because it's not even, they're actually finally ready to make that change. They've come with you on the journey of your self-discovery somewhat, and now saying they're ready, and then when it comes to the dollar amount again, they put that wall up because they're not worthy.
Yeah. So I think in any case, like if it's a coach invite or a customer invite, either one, like I just keep it pretty real with people. And so I do have multiple women. Man, they drive me crazy. But they've been talking to me. We've been talking forever. And always they put that wall up, and they'll even tell me like, and I will ask them too, because I'll ask them like, what are you afraid of, or what's stopping you? And so they'll pour it all out. Like, and I usually use Facebook voice messages. So instead of like typing back into these deep conversations, I use Facebook voice messages. And what I do is I relate it back to myself, but I tell them how I was maybe in a similar situation or felt that same way, and what I had to do to get over it, to change my own life. And so I'll use I messages, even though I want to be like, you need to do this, and you need to get over this, and you need to get over that. But instead I say like, I had to tell myself X, Y, and Z because I knew my life wouldn't change. And here's how, the result of that. But honestly, for those people, sometimes it's just time. I mean, I have like ton of people like that who they'll even message me like, okay, I'm ready. And then I'll message them back and be like, no, I changed my mind again. So it's just, you just have to give them time.
Yeah, I have a couple that I've been working on for 2 years, and it's the exact same thing that you talk about. They flip flop back and forth because it's like the beginning of the month is positive for them now because everything in their life is going well, so they think it's okay, and then something will happen and they trip themselves up. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ruth, and congratulations on all of your success. Like, that's amazing to be number one. And we can't wait to see you at the top next month.
Well, yeah, hopefully. We'll see. It's a long year. We've got a fight ahead of us.
But we're gonna year. But thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. I know that you have a lot of things going on, and we really, really appreciate it and all of the nuggets you gave us tonight. So thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Bye.